Hi, and welcome to Microlight Flying Adventures with CrayonBox, or you can call me Stuart if you want. In the last video, I went flying and practiced my STOL, or short takeoff and landings, to see how short I could land and how quickly I could get off the ground again. They weren't strictly as good as I could do them, so I might have tried to do them again. You'll have to watch out for those in the future. The STOL videos that I've been making actually tie in very well with a recent series I did last year called EFATO, or Engine Failure After Takeoff, and they can be seen in the link here, or go and search my channel for Engine Failure After Takeoff, or EFATO, where we examine an emergency landing scenario to turn back to the runway after takeoff. Anyway, in this video you'll be watching now, Raylene and I fly to Fraser Island to check out the recent fire damage caused to the vegetation and the extent of where the fires burnt on the east coast. And as well as that, I received a mandatory service bulletin from Rotax to do some repairs to my microlight engine. So we'll be looking at that very shortly. So welcome and come along and let's have a look. Oh, and by the way, if you feel like buying me a coffee because you're enjoying these videos so much, please do so. The information to do that is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to come flying with me sometime and enjoy a microlight experience, maybe you could check out the details coming up in this video as to how you can enter a little competition that I'll be running now and then.
1, 2, testing on. Switches on. Clear prop. Volume turned up, Raylene, on yours?
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, sound disappointed.
I can hear you loud and clear.
I'm making this video again. The other day I tried to make it. It was too windy for the microphone.
This is actually in the camera, so it would be so much easier if you could tip the carburetor.
So I thought I'd use a noisy environment such as this. Is that smart? I don't know. Today we're going flying to Fraser Island just for something to do. It's, 5 o'clock in the afternoon nearly. And I've got my wife Raylene with me today. And this video is really about a recent repair to this engine. Many of you would know this if you have Rotax. I hope you know this, and if you don't know this yet, you will shortly. You need to check that your floats are current. The floats and the carburetors, because there's been another revision on those and it pertains to certain serial number of engines, so a lot of you it may not be a problem. However, it is of course necessary to check. It's a mandatory service bulletin procedure. So how did that start for me? Well, I of course got an email from Rotax. I'm a registered Rotax person, so I get emails, and the email basically said, check your floats, here's the service bulletin, check your serial number. So off I went and checked my serial number. Sure enough, I'm in the serial number range. So then I spoke to the Australian distributor supplier for Rotax engines and equipment down in Victoria, Burt Floods, and they were able to say to me that they had stock coming actually, and I put my name down, and then consequently a couple of weeks later received the floats. But in the meantime, while you're waiting for us to return, just watch the procedure that I went through to replace the floats. You're probably familiar with it. Oh, by the way, don't do this if you're not qualified to do it. Different countries have different rules for this, so make sure that you are allowed to do this type of work. we've put the floats in, which is why we are now about to fly. I've done some run-up tests, everything's looking good. We're going to go flying to Fraser, as I said, and if you see the ending of this video, it means we made it back without any issues. If you don't see the ending, you probably didn't see the video in the first place. Anyway, on with the show, we're going to Fraser. You ready to go?
Ready to go.
Ready to go. Right, we're already warmed up actually because I've been testing the engine. We got 53 degrees and we are good to go, so... Mirror traffic, microlight 6340 enters and backtracks runway 12, Maryborough. Right traffic, microlight 6340 is airborne 12 and we're tracking out to the east, flying through 700 for 1500 Maryborough traffic. Cold yet?
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit chilly.
Oh. Hello!
I've just got all my name out there, smart enough.
Yeah, I'll cut that bit out, no worries. What are you up to, mate?
I'm trying to get you. I'm just over to Navigando at the island. Not Dave.
Yeah, right, I think I heard you. Were you at Riverheads or tracking straight out to Fraser?
Riverheads down, and then I'll be over to Fraser in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, righto, Mark. What's your rego?
Whiskey Mike Zulu.
Whiskey Mike Zulu? Juliet.
Yeah, Whiskey Mike Juliet.
Copy, thanks, and we'll talk soon.
Some sheep down there.
Hey?
There's some sheep on the right.
Cows.
Oh, they're cows.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there were cows up here closest to us at 6 o'clock, and then at 1 o'clock and 9 o'clock, looks like sheep.
How can you see 6 o'clock?
Like down below me, like at
Oh,
9
no.
o'clock.
12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Oh, well then in that case it's now 5:30, and it...
5:30, well that's more like 3:30, and
Yeah.
it's 3:30 low. And cows are normally on the ground.
There you go, learned something new today.
So I think we'll go over to Happy Valley,
Righto.
then we'll go up to the Maheno,
Okay.
maybe a little bit further, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Because that'll give us good coverage of what's happened.
Okay.
Whiskey Mike Juliet, microlight 6340. Yeah, are you just checking you're on multicom now? Yep. Yeah, righto, so am I. Just crossing Sandy Straits now for Fraser Island, tracking east at 3000. Fraser Island traffic. How you going in the back, Riley?
I'm great, thank you.
That's good. Just wanted to let you know that we're now crossing the Sandy Straits, Great Sandy Straits, and in front of us is Fraser Island. So, as I was just saying on the radio to my friend Mark from the Euro Club, we'll be heading straight over to the east to a resort called Eurong Beach. We'll be tracking north from there. We'll probably see Happy Valley and everything, and where the fires damaged a lot of the vegetation, right down to the beach. And then we'll track up to cathedrals, which will be past the Maheno shipwreck. And from the cathedrals, or the pinnacle, whatever it is, the coloured sand we'll be tracking back to Maryborough from there. Total round flight trip of around probably hour and 15 to 20 minutes, I guess, guessing. Anyway, we'll see you as there's things to show you. Enjoy the view.
Oh, look at the rainbow in the cloud.
Yeah.
Traffic airbound Bravo Foxtrot Sierra 14 nautical miles north on the aerodrome. We'll be shortly transferring overhead at 2,000 feet. Track direct to Sunshine Coast. Maheno Beach.
It's quite dirty on the shoreline, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually.
That's all the creeks washing out the ash and stuff.
Fraser Island traffic, microlight 6340 is currently overhead Eurong Beach on the coast, on the east coast, at 3000, tracking north coastal for the Maheno, Fraser Island traffic.
I've stayed down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had dinner in that round building. And
What's in the round building?
the restaurant and the main reception. And then, probably on the left, no, the right of that, at about 1 o'clock, that's where I stayed.
Yeah, catch you around, Mark. I'm just Happy Valley now, so yeah, good flying, mate. Yeah, so just in front of us now is Happy Valley Resort, where the fires nearly got to it, but a lot of work and a lot of fire, water bombing and so forth from the aircraft prevented the disaster that could have resulted, and you'll see what I'm talking about very shortly. The fire burned right down to the beach, as you'll see, and very much into the backyards of a few of the properties here. So from here I can already see quite a lot of damage. It's a fairly narrow, well, there's a couple of narrow strips really. There's a lot of green vegetation around it, but it seemed to really hone in on where the buildings were, unfortunately. But all is now good, and we've had some rain, so vegetation should start to make a comeback soon.
Interesting, the path that it's taken, isn't it?
Yeah, right down the valley though.
Yeah.
Most unfortunate really, because look how close it came to these below us.
I know. That's right on the edge there.
And same with what's in front of us.
Yeah.
So this is the main Happy Valley area in front now. And right down to the beach, as you can see, and you can see some of the stains in the sand from the ash, from the burnt vegetation. There's even a little burn patch in the middle of that ridge there between the houses.
Yeah. Where the airbus flew up, probably.
A lot of denuded ridges and hills there, sand dunes.
Yeah.
No vegetation at all. Hopefully there's some roots in the soil to hold it together until it can get going again, but still looks very dead. Maybe it'll make the sand dune a bit bigger.
Yeah, probably will.
There's still a lot of green around the edge of the sand dune though, which is a good thing. So that was what all the problem was about, is Happy Valley Resort was under threat a few times, and as you can understand it just started to threaten, and then it backed off, and then it threatened again. Fortunately they saved it. There's a lot of vehicles now on the beach as well, so people have been making the most of the holiday break and Christmas and New Year this year. We're making our way north now to the Maheno shipwrecks just coming up, and there's a lot of devastation. Well, I shouldn't use that word. A lot of burnt, missing green foliage. It's mostly brown ash. Okay, in front of us now is a lot of cars, and the reason for that is it's Eli Creek. Where it's a big tourist destination where you can float down the freshwater creek and cool off on these warmer, hot, humid summer days. Very popular with the tourists, as you can see.
It's changed direction, hasn't it?
Yeah, again. And the fires obviously didn't threaten this area at all. Didn't really get too close. Now we have burnt vegetation along the edge of the coastline here. Probably these little areas down here is about as far south as it got. As you go further north, there's a lot more burnt out vegetation, especially in the inland area, and we'll do that another day. Maheno shipwreck is just in front of us, and all along here you can see the fire made it all the way to the beach, including the area near the Maheno shipwreck. Maheno shipwreck, most of us in the area know about as being very famous for many reasons. It's very wrecked now, as it's called a wreck, but very, very rusted out. It's been bombed as target practice. It's been used for a lot of things, and now the corrosion and the cyclones and everything else has really taken its toll. There it is, the Maheno shipwreck, resting dormant to die forever as it ends its days as a tourist attraction.
It's been swallowed up lots since the last time I saw it.
Yeah, it's just falling to pieces. Right, and then there's a little bit of a reprieve along the beach where vegetation wasn't burnt. Still some green, and that's probably because of the sand dune inland. The fire couldn't burn through the sand dune, so it didn't, because of the prevailing winds, I guess, it just pushed its way around the sand dune and into the beach, missing out this piece of vegetation. And the whole sand tourist attraction, you can see the coloured sand there. It's still the same colour as it used to be, but the vegetation certainly is not. It's very blackened. Probably makes the coloured sand stand out a little bit more, especially if it was full sunshine. Look at those totally denuded sand dunes that were once covered in vegetation. I wonder what will happen to that over time. Will the vegetation grow back, or will sand dune sand blow take over? We're going to find a clear spot underneath this cloud.
It looks like new growth just there.
Yeah, there is actually some new growth in there, yeah. You can see the new leaves on the actual trunks of the vegetation. The trees that used to be there. Certainly is a sign. Righto, so we're going to climb right. Right traffic, microlight 634 is 3 miles to the east. 3000, and we're about to join downwind for runway 12 full stop, Maryborough.
Yes, Stuart. I'm still here in the backyard, didn't lose me.
We're back on the ground in Maryborough. We have 29 litres remaining. We've made it back to the airport. I would call this a successful mission. We have flown the aircraft and it didn't let us down. Of course, because I did the repairs. Anyway, I'm qualified to do so, just so you know. But if you're doing this yourself, when you're refitting the bowls, when the carburetor is still on the aircraft, trying to line up those gaskets is not easy, so I would suggest and recommend that perhaps you just be patient and you'll feel the bowl click into place. You'll feel it and double, triple check. Take photos, use a mirror, use a torch, that the gasket is still intact. Do not force anything and you will know that it's gone in properly, because you'll be able to put the retaining clip for the float bowl on by hand. You shouldn't need to use tools to do that. So that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of scenery, a little bit of technology, a little bit of repair maintenance, and we're going to call it quits now. So you had a good flight, Raylene?
Yeah, it was great, thank you.
That's the way. So just remember, thanks for watching CrayonBox Flying Adventures, and safe flying.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the flight to Fraser Island, and I hope you benefited from seeing what's required to replace the floats and the carburetors. So I'm not really preparing a training video, as you might have seen in this video. It's not really for training, but hopefully it gives you a bit more of an idea of what's required to be done. And if you can't do it, just make sure you get the right person to do it for you, because you certainly don't want the engine stopping because you made a mistake. Alright, so what's coming up next time? We plan to revisit the STOL, or short takeoff and landing, however you want to say it, practicing. I'm going to try and land even shorter than I did in the last video, and I'm even going to slow down to do that as much as I can, and hopefully we won't slow down so much that we end up creating a stall situation at 100 feet or less. That would be absolutely disastrous. So be watching for that video coming up next time, and thanks for joining me in this one. And remember, if you want to come flying with me, all you've got to do is go through last time's video, the short takeoff and landings, and send me a message via the Facebook Messenger on CrayonBox Flying Adventures, and tell me how many times did I take off and land during that episode. Oh, you're still here? Well, maybe you'd consider giving this video a like and maybe watching a few more. Well, stick around and see what else I've been up to. And of course, there's the obligatory subscribe if you feel that way inclined. That's only optional, of course, but just stay in touch and hopefully you won't forget to see what's coming in the future. Oh, and before you head away, maybe you'd like to go and check out the Bird's Eye Landscapes channel, where you'll be able to see some more of my videos that have been either left uncut or just some different topics about what we've done in the past. And also, you can check out some more videos on this channel and give anything you like a thumbs up, please, because that really helps us out. And if you want to follow along in the future and see what happens, please subscribe to the channel, and maybe even check out the description where there are instructions for you to buy me a coffee if that's what you want to do. Thanks for your assistance, and thanks for watching, and I hope your next flight is a great one.